our producer Bill just said to me, you know, that's exactly where Jesus would be.
I think so. I think, you know, a lot of us have a heart to help people who've disadvantaged or are struggling in their life, but I think there's a fear sometimes because you don't know, maybe you don't know how to deal with addiction, you know, like we talked about today. Maybe, you know, you're not sure about what poverty entails, or if you're going to be asked to help beyond what you're able to help, or you can't help everyone, or there's just lots of things, I think, barriers that stand between people that are living different lives than you. But I think when you break down those barriers, and I think it's our responsibility to break down those barriers sometimes, I think that you receive. You go to give, and you end up receiving. You know, if you travel the world, people who live in poverty are some of the most joyful people sometimes you'll ever meet. The Downtown Eastside has a sense of community about it. You know, where the hostesses were saying to me, if you meet somebody in the street, they'll give you a hug. She goes, that doesn't happen in other communities. You know, like
you look at someone in downtown Toronto, they wonder what you're about.
Eye
contact.
And I don't want to put down Toronto, but I remember being stuck in an elevator one time in my apartment building when I lived there in the city, and nobody said anything. Like we're stuck between floors, and nobody talked to anybody. We just all stood there pushing the button.
You know what I loved was what Grace said, is that God is the answer for me, but it's going to take community and family. I've been to the Great Room. I've been walked the streets of Downtown Eastside to see the great work of the Salvation Army, of Linwood Ministries, and it is a beautiful thing. I really believe that's the beautiful feat, you know, of the good message of those women. I mean, they work tirelessly with women year after year after year through addiction, and we need to remember too the women that work hard and are, you know, getting dirty in the mess of things. It's not like you just come in and then leave a week later. It's like they live among the people.
And Gwen, I think 3 of us have been to Gwen McVicker's Linwood House, which is, I so wanted you to go and do a story on that.
She said to me, we want to do it, but she wants to do a live full circle there, or just a table full circle there. So
okay, you know
but she's full of ideas.
We're booked up for 2010, but maybe 2011.
Yeah,
we'll
if we're out there doing a conference, you never know.
Yeah, maybe now, Danette, your heart is leaping through this whole story because you're involved in 10 communities.
Yes, we have 10 adopted neighborhoods, and we go into neighborhoods in America that the fire department does not go in without a police escort, and we go into these neighborhoods. And you know, I share in my book about women, if they're married to someone with a sexual addiction or they themselves have been sexually abused, many times they'll end up in a lifestyle of prostitution or sexual addiction themselves. And it's their way of dealing with that pit of rejection. Instead of getting out of the pit, they get a deeper pit. And then these women end up in prostitution or in prison. I just spoke with a whole huge group of women in a prison in America. And I was so excited because I gave them all my book and shared with them. And I'm headed to LA and also Las Vegas to minister to the prostitutes and give them a copy of the book and just show them the love of God, because they found themselves in that pit. And like the girl said on the report, the answer is Christ.
Cheryl, when you were there, what like spoke to you? Like, what was your sense when you were walking and being within the community?
I think, you know, addiction, working the sex trade, poverty sometimes even strips you of your dignity. Sometimes, and I see this program as giving women back their dignity. You know, we all have that dignity, but sometimes, you know, life circumstances, right, take it away and you're not feeling it. And I really saw you can tell women, like, you have value and you have worth, you know, but you have to walk it out. You have to walk it out every day, and you need to show women that. And I think the key was, for me, that really was like a light bulb going on, was, you know, in the Downtown Eastside, you need, or in any place where people are struggling with poverty, you need programs that feed and clothe people, because they need to be clothed, they need to eat. But programs that say to women, not only are you valuable enough for me to take the time to feed and clothe or help you out in this difficult part of your life, but you actually have something to give back. You have something to offer people.
That's exactly what I was going to say, is what I saw in the piece was it gave these ladies a sense of purpose, that they are needed. They're needed to be a vital part of the community, and that's what keeps them going. And then they draw together with each other, and they are sisters, and they take care of each other and look out for each other. And that can be the beginning of a new beginning for them, not going backwards anymore, but going forward.
And Gwen, I think, is such a great testimony of this. I mean, it takes courage. I mean, you have to get past fears and assumptions of people, of those kinds of places. You have to kind of get past even the stereotypes and the racism and all those things that we have created within us that keep us from people. And then to speak the life, to say, you have value, let's give you opportunity, and to trust. You know what? They may fail. like we all do. They may not do it the way we want. It may be messy. It might not look the Christian in the box way, but we have to trust that God will use people in His way. And I think that's when I was there, was so empowering, is that it doesn't look the way we would want, the nice clean way, but
you know, I love that.
way.
I think these days that is really the message, is there is no Christian in the box. I mean, you know, Jesus Christ and the cross is what we need to focus on. But stay away from the box and restrictive, not going to certain neighborhoods because it's not safe. If God is leading you there, bring the message of hope and healing there.
You know what I loved is the lady that said, I like myself. I love myself. And it's like you could see she feels the value. She is, you know, she loves herself. And
you want us all to be rejection proof, you said.
Yeah, rejection proof.
That's it, yes.
You know what I think the truth is that God is with us in the messiness of our lives. In every pit that we're in, you can be as far away from God as you could ever imagine, living the worst lifestyle you could ever imagine, and God is still there working to bring you to Him, working in your life. But the thing is, people won't always know that until we show it. And I think it's a challenge to the church to say, you know, it's so easy to go to church and look beautiful every Sunday and live within your community of people who are just like you. But that's not really what Christianity is all about. And we have to get beyond our comfort zones and be with people, and we need to be that physical representation of who God is and say, like, for an addict, for example, when Gwen's walking with someone through a journey, sometimes that's years, and sometimes they go back and they don't come to talk to her for months or years at a time. And it's just being persistent with love and, you know, being that face of God to say, like, I love you no matter what.
I don't want to be corny, but what would Jesus do?
Right.
He would go there.
Exactly.
Right.
So we have to go.
Yeah, and honestly, look at Jesus' life. I mean, his best friends, out of here, in your greatest time of need, we're done. And rejection and abandonment. I mean, if you really wanted rejection and abandonment, look at Jesus. I mean, really, whether you've read the Bible or not, greatest example, read the life of Jesus and really see what he went through. And what he knows about
and more
those
importantly,
things.
get to know who
him.
he is
That's
right now and wants to be in your life.